we're talking about teams that we're worried about, and the Giants are one of those because I think you're worried about them on two levels. You're worried about them in the macro, and you're worried about them in the micro. I mean, they don't have their head coach of the future. They might not have their GM of the future. Um, right now, Jameis Winston is your only veteran quarterback on the roster. Now, is Russell Wilson in play? Is Joe Flacco in play? Is Kirk Cousins in play? Possibly. And you're just going to do the two vet thing, and you're going to hope that you have enough gas to win 9 games, and you're going to hope that Evan Neal finally turns it around, and you're going to hope that Tyrone Tracy takes a big leap forward, and you're going to hope that Malik Neighbors can handle being absolutely smothered by defenses for 17 games next year and stay healthy during that. And you're going to hope that your defense takes a step forward. And you're going to hope that the free agency moves that you did make, you had to spend a little bit more than other teams to get mediocre players from a bad talent pool. And so you're going to hope that all those guys come and take the next leap forward. I don't know. I mean, just on two levels, I'm worried about the Giants right now.
Yeah, the quarterback thing's hard to get around. I mean, it's just, like I think like with the eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket, and the effort to get Stafford, and you give him credit for that. Like, I think Stafford is somebody who could come in and elevate people. The Rodgers thing, I think, has sort of handicapped them a little bit from doing anything else at the position. I don't think they're out of the Rodgers thing with Jameis there. I'd be a little surprised if it wound up being Russell. To me, like, if I'm them, I'm probably trying to trade for Kirk Cousins.
Right.
I don't like being in the spot where if you're picking third overall, you're forced to take a quarterback or else. I don't want to be held at gunpoint. I think Kirk still has good football left. They can give you a year or two to buy you time to find the next guy, whether that's one of the guys this year. Maybe it's Jackson Dart, at the top of the second round. Maybe it's Garrett Nussmeier or Drew Aller or Lenora Sellers or one of the guys who'd be in the 26th draft. But I love Jameis. Can Jameis get you through a year? I don't know, and if it's Jameis and Joe Flacco, I don't know that that's enough. I'd feel comfortable if it was Kirk. Like, if it was Kirk, I think then you can look at it and say, yeah, we'll be fine getting through 2025. He should be better off the Achilles in year two. He had some of the telltale things of a quarterback coming off an Achilles injury to his plant foot last year, where he had trouble driving the ball. You'd hope some of that's coming back. And so I don't know, man. I think if they can get decent quarterback play, they're not in a horrible spot, because I do like the core of Andrew Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. We'll see if they get anything out of Deontay Banks. I actually like that core. But this quarterback thing really has a chance to hold them hostage. And if it does, it's hard to believe, but this is sort of mismanagement too. Like, how is it that 6 years later, they're still feeling the effects of missing on Daniel Jones? It's sort of like something I've talked about here in New England with the Patriots. Is like, they still feel the effects of missing on N'Keal Harry in 2019 and Isaiah Wynn in 2018 at the receiver and left tackle spots. That's just mismanagement.
Right.
That's chasing mistakes and not recognizing the mistake when it was there in front of you and continuing to give it chances when it didn't deserve them. And now you're screwed, and I sort of feel like the same way. Like, the Giants shouldn't still be chasing the Daniel Jones swing and miss this many years later, but here they are.
And not to say that, good organizations are good. I wrote this a couple weeks ago, though. It blows my mind that the Giants and the Steelers were the two teams that were kind of in on Aaron Rodgers, like these two historically blue. But with the Giants in particular, right? You're not just feeling the after effects of Daniel Jones. It's so many things. And the weird thing too is I'm gonna say something that sounds insane, but I promise you, I think is probably closer to true. Dave Gettleman was right in terms of what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
He did not do it successfully. Is that fair? Dave Gettleman was trying to build this Eagles team that just won the Super Bowl.
Well, Dave Gettleman, give him credit here, got a franchise left tackle, got a franchise-altering defensive tackle, and drafted the guy who was one of the 5 best players in the league last year in Saquon Barkley. So
Right.
those are 3 of his first round picks.
He was a middle finger to the and I say analytics in air quotes because I think we've reached the point now where some analytics are valuable and are going to become part of the league, and some of them are distracting and unhelpful for the conversation. But he was an FU, big people beat little people guy. And I think that frustrated a lot of people at the time. It was the wrong time for him to come out and say what he said, but he ended up being right because I believe in my heart that the team that he wanted to build was the one that just won the Super Bowl. But like, and at a time when everyone was getting thinner and faster and the game was getting more spread out, he wanted to bunch it up and he wanted to ram it down someone's throat.
Right, and and again, like he hit home runs on a couple of those picks. Like Dexter Lawrence, like that was not like everybody thinks this guy's going to be a great pick. Like that was. There were a lot of people who looked at Dexter Lawrence and was like, you're going to take that guy in the first round, a 350-pound D tackle. And he damn near might have been the defensive player of the year last year. Andrew Thomas, I believe that year there were a bunch of left tackles available. He got the right one. You know what I mean? Like, so you look at it like, and he got a bunch of things right there. And interestingly enough, like, to some degree, like a lot of the fate of the 2025 Giants rides on the 2 guys that I'm talking about, and the storyline of the Giants of the last 2 years is the guy who's now gone, who just won the Super Bowl, who he drafted. So it's kind of funny the way that stuff comes back around.
Now, could we sit here and say that if the Giants had taken Josh Allen at number 2, that everything would be different? I don't know.
Oh, of course. But that's a lot of teams. I mean, they're one of 6 teams that passed on him, right?
Right. And so, but the pick for Saquon doesn't look as bad in comparison now. And you're right. The Dexter Lawrence pick was, you had he went 2 picks before Jeffrey Simmons, who a lot of people thought was possibly a better defensive tackle. You had Montez Sweat in the back end of that draft, Jerry Tillery, maybe not as much of a guy who was in a conversation for that, but and the Andrew Thomas one was a loaded draft class for offensive tackles, and so it's a strange situation because it all comes back to the quarterback. But how are you not like Pittsburgh, where and Pittsburgh's in this situation for a different reason, but every 2 years.
I don't know why this just hit me. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Gettleman was right about Beckham too, right?
I know.
No one, he was seen as the village idiot for trading Odell Beckham. Do you know who traded Odell Beckham at the exact right time?
Dave Gettleman.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Dave.
Yeah. You got to give him credit for that, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to revisit that, but he traded Beckham.
But we're doing it.
But
justice for Dave Gettleman.
What did Beckham do after that trade? He had nice finish the season with the Rams a few years later, but I don't know. He seemed like he got that one right too.
I know. And from there, the one thing he missed on was the quarterback, right? Yeah. That was the one thing he missed.
Passed on Allen in 18 and took Jones in 19. That was it.
And again, it's one of those situations where I think the solution at the time would have been to behave more like the Steelers in that, and even though the Steelers are in this situation too, it's like, and Daniel Jones wasn't Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett was much worse, but you move on.
Here's what's interesting though. How differently would we be looking at Joe Shane and Brian Daboll right now if the Patriots accepted their blockbuster offer for the
100%. Yeah, for sure.
If they have Drake May right now, how different are we looking at the Giants?
And how differently are we looking at the Giants if Tommy DeVito doesn't come in, sprinkle Parmesan on the season, and win them a couple games that they're not supposed to, and they're right in the thick of this potentially generational quarterback class in 2023, right? Yeah.
That was my favorite scoop of the free agency, I think, was Danny DeVito re-signing with the Giants.
Tommy DeVito.
What did I say?
Danny DeVito.
I had a long night writing just to inform everybody. Danny DeVito does not play quarterback for the Giants.
That we know of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not yet, but they're running out of options.
Tommy DeVito, one of my favorite scoops I think my favorite scoop of this month was Tommy DeVito re-upping with the Giants. I don't know if I've ever seen such hoopla over an exclusive rights free agent being handed a tender and signing it.
Like, Tommy is a perfectly serviceable backup that is beloved by the fan base and is non-controversial after the whole pizza parlor incident was cleared up here in New Jersey. Yeah, everything's great with Tommy. But if he has to start meaningful games again next year, then everybody has to be fired. Yeah. Tommy DeVito, third in a quarterback room with, if you were to come to me, and again, we could put a bow on the Giants here.
What if Russ went to New York?
Russ and Tommy DeVito would be such a fascinating.
I mean, it's too bad the Hard Knocks already fired their bullet with the Giants, because Hard Knocks Giants quarterbacks 2025 will be fantastic.
Let me put a bow on it like this. If I were to, almost like I wish they didn't do Jameis, but Jameis is stylistically interesting. So let's put it like this:
Jameis, Russ, and Tommy DeVito.
Jameis, Russ, and Tommy DeVito is a hard pass for me, but Jameis, Kirk, and Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I said it. Like, I think, like, if I'm Joe Schoen and I'm not getting Aaron Rodgers, my next call is to the Falcons. I'm offering to pick up a percentage of that money. I'll give you a 4th round pick.
Because here's the thing. Here's the one thing that we haven't addressed with the Giants, and I think deserves mentioning. I'm just going to go through their opponents next year. Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders, Packers. They have the NFC North, right? Yeah, so Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders, Packers, Vikings, Chiefs, Chargers, 49ers, Cowboys.
Well, they have the Eagles, AFC West and the NFC North.
Yeah. Commanders, Bears, Broncos, Lions. Your 3 games where you're like, okay, Raiders, Saints, Patriots. But all of those teams got markedly better this offseason.
So those are the games assigned by those are the 3 games that are assigned by their finish in the division, right?
So I'm just looking at this and I'm like, brother, if you think Jameis is riding that wave, good luck to you.
Yeah.
That is a gauntlet
and killer schedule.
Gauntlet is
that's what all the NFC teams are facing, and that's tough, man. I didn't realize that. So they play the AFC West and the NFC North. That's about as tough as it gets.
It's and I'm gonna get killed for saying this, but like, the Chiefs are one of your more manageable games on that schedule. Like, holy God. And I'm assuming that the Chiefs are going to take a slight step back. And by slight, I'm saying, like, oh God, they're going to win 10 games next year, right? That is rough stuff, right?
It's a tough road to hoe, for sure.
So if you don't have Kirk,
yep,
like Jameis and Russ trying to ride that thing out,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, that's a big reason why we're worried. But wow, we vindicated Dave Gettleman in this podcast. How about that? Dave, get at us if you want to come on an episode and talk about everything that you've accomplished. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We'll do an anti-analytics episode.